Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the podcast, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. I said podcast and not program. If this is a sign of what's going to happen in this next hour, we're all screwed because I never get that wrong. I've done that for 9 years now without fail. Welcome to the program. Maybe I should just click off and just start over. I'm all ready for Clint. You see this? I'm already out of sorts. You believe what's happening here? What's going on? Cats and dogs leaving together. It's mass hysteria. If you don't get that reference, you and I have nothing to say to each other. Happy Friday to you, kids. Thanks once again for tuning back into us here on the Main Event. I'm Tom, your host. This is episode number 287. We better fill this room up. I want every one of you watching right now, and there's so many of you. I want you to go share this link right now to all your friends. Let them know what's up. Tell them Tom's on. And I want you to go share it to all your enemies. Let them know what's up. Tell them Tom's on. And then flip them off if you need to, but not till the show's over, because then they may not watch. Okay? We're all about peace and love here on the Main Event, man. We're all about bringing people together. This is about unity, power to the people, and a bunch of other platitudes that mean nothing to pro wrestling. I've had a good week. How's your week been? I've been fantastic. Thanks for asking. I'm rocking the plain black today. It's all good, though. The bracelet game's on point. The ring game is on point, baby. I'm going for all of them on here. As soon as I get them, guess what? You're all finished, okay? It's over. Poof, you're dusted. Don't play with me. Don't think I won't do it. I picked that one up the other day. It's on that finger. No, I'm not telling you where you can go. It's just that finger. What am I going to do? It spins. See? I don't know how far I'm going with it. I have no idea. Before we bring on guests, and man, we've got guests. We got three other dudes here, man, and I'm teeing it up for them. And this is pro wrestling. We talk about pro wrestling here on the podcast. So before we put them on the screen, we're going to do what they don't think's coming, what they don't know is coming. Because if you're going to talk about pro wrestling, you got to have some intro music, baby. It's how we roll. You need a Tron. You need music. You need to get this thing cranking. Let's crank it. You ready? Let's do this. Oh, what about that, huh?
Big fan of that.
Oh, man.
That was
See
very
that?
Thinking we were just going to throw up the four horsewomen.
Oh, we got to do that. Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. You got to make it happen. I'm going to screenshot this later.
Awesome.
Oh, man. Yeah, I threw that together. That was, remember the last time I did that several months ago? My video editing skills have increased. They're much better now. I didn't have time to do something original, so I just tweaked that one. So I'm peeling back the curtain, kids, but it's all good.
I love it.
Thank you guys for joining me here today, man. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for taking time to do this, man. I really very much appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. It's appreciated as always.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you, man. Absolutely. In case you kids don't know who we're looking at, let me be the first one to introduce you. Right now, we've got Troy, Jay, and Ben from the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. I'm not going to put you over. Troy, step up and tell the kids out there about your show.
What does our blurb say? A no-holds-barred wrestling podcast. Discussing everything and anything about professional wrestling, regardless of what promotion you watch, where in the world you are. There's something for everyone. like professional wrestling, it's a variety show, and we aim to do the same. So yeah, there's reviews, interviews, watch-alongs, new and old, both current and retro stuff. So yeah, trying to hit everything. Really, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Don't watch the NXT one. Listen to that one.
When I
dude.
Before I pitch it to you, when I pitched to you, I said I'm not going to put your show over. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was, don't you put? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you a chance. That's what I meant by that. But anyway, the lads here, and I'll call them that. Okay. The lads do a fantastic job. The show's moving onward and upward, kids, to the moon, as they say. And yeah, I got that button. Don't even play with me. To the moon. Okay. So yeah, you guys should know what I got going on. I need to adjust the buttons. The kids have been asking me for a while, what's up with the buttons? I'm going to repackage the show and get it going. But until we do, how about this?
I'm going to the moon.
I had to. I had to.
Let's
say some.
Not to.
Absolutely. Let's say some hellos real quick before we get going here today. Sugar Shane's in the house. Carlos Martinez, Brendan, how you doing? Troy's going to be covered up today. Ray all day. Ray and I got a chance to hang out in New York. Ray's the best dude ever. Troy, he said next time when you guys come to States, Ray's buying a round for everybody. So there you go.
Perfect.
What's up, Chris? How you doing? Let's see. Bill Hall. Bill can't even say hello. Hello, Bill, whoever you are. Say hello first. Manners. Jeez.
Buy me a drink first.
Man, you can't get to third base, man. I'm not easy, okay? Come on, dude. I don't just hit buttons for any old person. All right. We've got stuff to talk about here today. We've got headlines. First of all, yes, welcome to the Big Honkin' Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, the one and only Tom Clark. Again, episode number 287. And by the way, what episode are we up to, gentlemen, on the show? For you guys.
Of our one?
Yeah.
Oh,
do you number them?
No. Last time we checked, it was God, what was it? Like 500-600 or something. Like we put like 3 out a week, so they just
we used to do a lot more than we do now, so it's kind of whittled down.
The lockdown output was a lot more scattershot, wasn't it? Whereas it's a little bit more focused now, a little bit more sort of.
We had a lot more time on our hands.
Boy, I remember the days of having time, but it's all good. So, all right. So let's get cranking with headlines. We're going to lead off today with the one and only Mr. Wyndham Rotunda. And you guys know him better. A lot of you, I'm sure, as Mr. Bray Wyatt back in WWE. Ben, let's kick it off with you. What's your first reaction coming off the end of Extreme Rules? What do you think about Bray being back in the big company?
Yeah,
it's great. It's great for fans. It's great for Bray. The only mild concern now is how do they book him properly, because that's always been the issue. But Vince is not there anymore. Like it does seem from everything we read and saw online over the last year, and it's mad that he's only been gone like just over a year. It feels like so long. It feels so much longer. Obviously, Vince is gone now. It came out he had all these problems with Vince. Like Vince really just didn't get him, didn't like him. He had these arguments. So hopefully, hopefully he just has a real nice time and tells some wonderful stories. Like that's all we really want, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. Troy, I was listening to Matt Hardy's podcast on the way home today, actually, and they talked about that. They posited their suggestion that this is it. Not maybe forever, but how many times can you reinvent this guy and bring him back and then drop the ball? Troy, do you think they're on point with that? Do you share that opinion? Like, this is the time. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it kind of felt like it ruined the Fiend very quickly, like before it really kind of got legs. Like there was a lot of cool stuff around it, but then it just kind of fell down very quickly. But yeah, it's kind of now and never. And even as Bray Wyatt, like before the Fiend thing, when he won the WWE Championship, that also felt kind of like a bit rushed, and it kind of fell down very quickly. It's just kind of mistreatment of the person and the character, and not really knowing how to treat it. And hopefully, it's in safer hands now. But yeah, I think I agree with that for the most part. It is kind of now or never. There is only so many times you can do that. And as creative as a person as Bray or Wyndham is, and I'm sure he could keep coming up and generating kind of new stuff. Like, it's how many times can you do that before it's just like, nah.
Yeah, agreed. Jay, what do you think about Bray being back?
I mean, that return was insane, wasn't it? It really was. The guy's one of the best minds the business has probably ever seen. Like, he's got such a unique kind of spin on it. I think to kind of like echo what Ben and Troy have said, with Vince being gone, it's definitely a blessing for him because he's going to have a little bit more creative leeway. He knows the character better than anyone else. He knows his vision better than anyone else. He's going to be allowed to kind of pitch that vision as opposed to being told, actually, this is what we see for you more. So I think my main thing is keep him away from the title picture. He doesn't need to be anywhere near it. He can do his own self-contained storylines. And
already though, the Warrior that is apparently is going to be exclusive to SmackDown, which is the Roman Reigns show. So whilst I agree, like, keep him away from that for a while, like, allow it to really, really build, like, putting him on there straight away, like, surely that's like a kind of a straight away a bit of a detriment because Roman's beaten everyone there has been, or rather everyone that's been put in front of him, certainly everyone on the SmackDown roster. Oh, here's a new challenger. Like, well, you don't put that on straight away, do you? But then there's only so long you can hold that off as well. Certainly with being on the same brand.
It's the old adage of you have two megastars on the same program. They are going to bump into each other eventually, even in the midst of a kayfabe storyline. Even if you believe there's a heel and babyface locker room and all that stuff, they're eventually going to bump into each other because it's going to happen. So yeah, they can only keep them away for so long. Ben, do you think it is, as the guys suggest, that this is the wrong time? Don't throw him straight in against Roman. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean it's so weird, isn't it? Because they've already had this character and they've booked the Undertaker for 30 years as this sort of sort of mystical, unstoppable monster, and now they've just forgotten how to do it with Bray completely. Now,
good call.
I mean, Undertaker, he walks, he sort of weaved in and out of title pitches. He was never champion for so long, but he brushed, like you said, he brushed up against the champions, and he sort of went, and it always felt like a big deal, didn't it? Like whenever someone bumped up into the Undertaker, it was like, oh god, they're going to find out now. Like this is they crossed the devil. Just do that. You've already done it. You had this character before, like this spooky, all powerful, like master, scary boy. Just do that again.
And I like the big scary boy. I like that. I like that you bring up Taker. It brings up an interesting point. This is for anybody who wants to jump in. I am more than a little sick of hearing about, well, Bray can't wrestle. Bray the characters, but God. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think Bray's ever offended me with his wrestling skills, but apparently he's offended a whole bunch of other people out there who are like, it can't work. Does anyone else here get hung up on what Bray can and can't do in the ring? Be honest.
No, because his wrestling sort of serves his character, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Is he Kenny Omega? No, no one else. Not a lot of people are. He doesn't have to be.
And when it was, and I've told this story a million times, but when it was just the John and Randy show in that company, like one was Raw and one was SmackDown. That's all you had. There's no AEW. TNA was whatever, and Ring of Honor was fighting. And every week I wrote about John and Randy without fail. Like, and all I heard about was John can't work. John can't work. John can't. And I'm like, no, John can work. They don't want him to work. They don't want him to do chain wrestling. They don't want him to do those things. Vince doesn't want him to do it. Like, to your point, Ben, John does the shoulder tackle and the fist and all this, but that's the thug / brawler guy. That's not what John could really do in the ring, but that's not what they wanted from him. James, what about this idea that, do you think it's been said to him on some level, perhaps, that, we don't really need that. We just need you to do this. Do you think that's been said to him at some point?
I think there's definitely, because of like his size and like the way he's built, they've probably drilled in because they've got their kind of way they like a guy of his size to kind of work, don't they? Like just like a bruise and a brawl. But also I think a lot of the thing with Bray is that he's there's that much kind of story encapsulating what he does. He doesn't need to be like this incredible like 5-star match machine. He can literally do the basics and like again not to keep parking it back to Undertaker, but when Undertaker first started, before he like got to wrestle like guys like Brett, where he'd just be wrestling these lumbering big guys and just having the same match with them. That like Bray can get away with doing that kind of thing because one, that's the style that's probably been drilled into him, and two, he's got the whole kind of like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers kind of thing going, so he can kind of like be like that.
Ricky Pate with an interesting comment. Unless the headlines are about how great King Reigns is, then no one cares. Ricky, I don't know if that means you're in the bag for Roman or if you're being sarcastic or what, but I'll put your comment up. First of all, hi, Rick. I'm Tom. Never seen you before, but thanks for hanging out. What do you guys think about that? I mean, when that's all we hear is it's Roman. And Troy, you said it's Roman's show. I'm not disagreeing. It is Roman's show. Like, has cynicism weighed in with a large number of the fans by now with this guy? I mean, is it become, more of this? Is he still respected? I mean, do you think there's a balance there? Do you see it leaning one more side to the other?
I don't know. A lot of the chat that I hear online, and I say a lot of the chat, it probably makes it for a very small minority of wrestling fans generally, but a lot of what I see is that people are kind of bored and kind of fed up of it. But it's like they've kind of booked themselves into a corner of that with putting both titles in him. It's just like, well, there's only so much you can do with that when there's one guy that holds both of them and he's limited to pretty much one show and has limited appearances. Like, people are going to get tired of it. I understand the frustration with it. And I think like the inclusion of like Sami Zayn into the whole like the bloodline thing has injected a little bit of new life into it, and certainly the addition of like Solo Sikoa as well. And I think it was just at the right time as it was starting to get stale. So it's given it another wrinkle, and I think that works for now. But again, that's going to get tired fairly quickly until something evolves within that kind of Sami Zayn thing. But yeah, I do agree. It is, or at least it was up until a few months ago, starting to get quite stale.
So I don't care who takes this, but since we all kind of agree you shouldn't throw Bray to him right now, someone take this position, throw Bray to him, and tell me why it would work, regardless of whether or not he wins the title. Does he stay red hot? Does it hurt him? Throw it to me in such a way that makes sense. Does anybody have an idea on how to book that? I'm curious.
The way I'd do it is I probably wouldn't immediately throw him, but I'd tease it, build it up for months. Like Bray does, he drip feeds people stuff. He doesn't give you the whole thing straight away. He'll drip feed you it until you need to kind of see the full picture. I literally have him like in his promo tonight on SmackDown. You can say a throwaway line about, I used to have the whole world in my hands, but then someone took it from me, alluding to Roman taking the belt off him. That's all you need to do for now. Then maybe, I don't know, around the Rumble, have them kind of cross paths. Even if it's like him eliminating like Solo from the Rumble or something. Just an interaction. It doesn't. They can literally, they could drag this out for until like next year's SummerSlam if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And then it would feel much more special than them going, let's just do Bray and Roman. Why not?
You've also got that addition of the fact that there's going to be the Wyatt Six, isn't there? And there's going to be various members of that faction. You could drag this out for 6 to 8 months, have those little interactions, have those like kind of brushing of shoulders, have each member of the Wyatt Six interfere, go up against various members of the Bloodline or Roman until you finally get to Bray at the end. That's the cool thing with this. It's not just him on his own. Like, there's going to be other stuff. And we've got potentially like another few weeks or months of seeing who those different people are, seeing those different reveals and seeing how they play their key part into him eventually. And I'm certain he will get that match against Roman for the title.
I love Bray's big thing is mind games, isn't it? And like sort of turning people against each other. Like, there's already that sort of bad will in the bloodline between like Jay and Sammy. Like have him like play on that over the course of, like Jay said, over the course of 6 to 12 months. Have him like slowly drive everyone away from Roman and expose him, and then that's what Bray would do if he was going after someone like that.
Yeah, get him alone and then pounce. Makes sense. I like the name the Wyatt Six. It reminds me of it's like a '60s band. It's like the Dave Clark Five or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I thought of, right?
Same.
The Wyatt Six. Marie from Peaches and Power Bombs is here, kids. I love Roman. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. The problem is they aren't doing much building with anyone else. So when all your attention is taken by Roman, he's going to stale quicker than he could be. That's the story of that company, though, isn't it? Whether Vince is there or not, apparently that's how they roll.
Yeah, I mean, just that whole not taking the time to build anyone else. Like, yeah, it's disappointing because there's plenty of people there you could say that should all be in argument for that kind of title picture or in and around it. It doesn't have to necessarily be one person at a time. There could be several. Like they've got it at the moment for like the Intercontinental Championship, haven't they? They've got several people around that. I think there's a match tonight on SmackDown where there's a number one contenders match, which is I think Sheamus, Karrion Kross is. I think maybe Ricochet's in there and a couple of other people. Solo Sikoa, exactly. So they've got people around that. There's no reason why he can't do the same, but it's because, again, going back to the point, he's got both belts. Like everything's so transfixed around the fact that he has those. It's like, hang on, there's other people that should be in that title picture. You're not doing anything to elevate them at all. It's like, it's disappointing.
Staying on the Roman topic, and we've mentioned Solo's name a few times here. Jay, has this guy just transitioned so incredibly well to the main roster? And if your answer is yes, why do you think that is?
It is yes, and I think it's just mainly because there's not really anyone like him on the main roster. Like the only person really it's an obvious comparison that he really reminds me of is Umaga, and they've not had anyone who wrestles like that, who works like that on the main roster for such a long time that he does feel like a breath of fresh air and he does feel different.
I agree. Now that we transition to the Roman part of the conversation, which I'm totally fine with that, Eric Jackson says, I heard The Rock might not face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Is that true? Brother, I couldn't tell you if he was supposed to face Roman. We've heard this since Roman split from the Shield back in the day. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm against it. However, do I need it? No. But I mean, I don't know. Ben, what do you think? Is this a match that has to happen? And tell me why or why not. What do you think?
Is it a match that has to happen? No. I don't think anyone. I'm saying this. My partner, who's like 3 minutes away from me, is 3 minutes away from me over there, is the biggest Rock fan in the world. So she'll hit me for this. I don't think anyone needs to see The Rock wrestle in 2023. Like, there's full-time guys there. Like you said, we just complained, didn't we, that they've not built anyone up to face Roman. Like, well, come on, it's WrestleMania season. You've got 4 months to do it. Do it. You know, you can. They built Bryan Danielson up in 3 months to be a WrestleMania main eventer. They did it with Kofi Kingston a couple of years ago really well. You know, they can do it when they want to. Just get onto it, basically.
Yeah. Also, with that match, like, should that happen? And I agree, Ben. Like, I don't need to see The Rock wrestle. I love The Rock, one of my favorites. I don't need to see him wrestle again. But also, in that situation, should that match happen, someone's coming out of that looking bad, aren't they? Like, The Rock comes in and loses, it kind of tarnishes him a bit. And Roman comes in, it's like, okay, well, The Rock's won. What does that mean? Because he's not having another run, is he? And okay, well, Roman's done, and it's kind of like no one comes out of that.
And you've just lost to a guy who hasn't wrestled for 10 years.
Yeah, so no one comes out of that situation looking good.
I don't think The Rock would look bad losing to Roman. I think it would be they'd try and make that as much of a passing the torch moment as they physically could.
But they've already poisoned that well though with Roman beating everybody else. That if he beats The Rock, it's just him beating another guy.
The logical thing. Sorry, Tom. The logical thing for me would be Cody comes back, wins the Rumble. The amount of momentum that he was on going into that Hell in a Cell match when he got hurt was probably priming him to be in the Mania main event the following year in some way, shape, or form. That for me would be the most logical way to do it.
I think Cody beats Roman at Mania next year. I said that when they brought him back. I just, to everybody's point, Roman's beat everybody. And shout out to Grant at Bleacher Report. Grant actually gave the list of names that Roman has beat since he's been champion, and it's not very long. But to everybody's point, every time we look around, we go, "Oh, he beats everybody," and he does. But in title matches, the list is not that long. So but he's just had it for so long, and the way he's booked, right? We all know how he's booked. It's their company; they can do whatever they want. I'm not complaining one way or the other, and I can't say I'm happy one way or the other. It's whatever they want to do. It's, as I said on last week's show, or with the girls on Peaches Power Bombs, they're telling their story, and their story may not be the version we'd like to tell, but we're not the ones telling it. They're the ones telling it. So I respect that. However, I will say this: Roman is at an all-time high in terms of how good he is, and I think he's been that way for a year, maybe a year or two now. He really is at all-time high. I mean, I think, has he peaked? You could make the argument he's peaked, but not in a bad way. He's really hit his stride. Very, very good on the mic. I mean, if nothing else, guys, I think everybody here can agree, he has complete control of what his character is and who his character is. Yeah. Like, don't hand this guy a script. You're wasting your time. He's got it. Like, he knows just the mannerisms and how slow you turn and look at someone, and all these things play into whether or not the crowd's going to buy it. I mean, is he the most improved? Let's rewind, guys, and think about, oh, Roman can't work either. Oh, he's all flash. They're shoving him down our throats. It's too much, blah, blah, blah.
Suffering succotash.
Hey, I was as guilty as anybody of being frustrated with this guy in the beginning. But let's fast forward to now. Is he the most improved maybe that we've seen in forever? What do you think, Troy?
I think it's a shout. Offhand, I can't think of anyone else. I mean, if you gave me 10, 15 minutes to think about something, I might be able to get back with not necessarily someone more improved, but equally. But yeah, I would agree. A vast turnaround, a complete U-turn. And as you say, it feels like he's very much got control of his character and everything about it. And you can tell it just comes across so naturally, and it is entertaining to watch. I know we've said, there's a lot of people that complain about it kind of getting stale, but I laugh every time he's on there. There's something that makes me laugh about what he does, or a mannerism, so yeah.
So pivoting just a bit. When I say just a bit, I mean to another company. It's a hard pivot, kids. It's a hard pivot. Stay with us. So let's talk for a minute about what's going on in AEW. And let's talk a little bit about, there's a few different headlines that company is making right now. And since we haven't touched base in a while, gentlemen, we'll lead with this big, nasty headline because I haven't had a chance to get your take on it. Right now, the whole situation with Punk, Omega, the Elite, everything's still being kept tightly under wraps. But it's been said for a while, and I've had someone say to me, how do I put this? Punk's probably done. And I'm not going to tell you told me that, but I mean, it looks as though it's very hush hush. Don't say anything. He's probably done. I mean, Ben, give me why you think that's good and maybe why that's bad, or if no matter what side you're on, do you have a pro and con to that?
Okay, so I'll do why it's bad first, because I think that's the quickest, easiest one. Why it's bad is because they put so much stock in Punk, and he came in with so much goodwill and so much love and so much positivity, and it has just soured like a glass of milk left out on the side over the course of a year, and it's done so quickly. And it's whenever, and if he leaves, which I think you're bang on, Tom. I think he is. There's no way in which CM Punk goes forward in AEW. If he leaves a vacuum behind him. Like, there's going to be a CM Punk shaped hole in that company for some time, regardless of how it all pans out. And why is it a good thing? Because, well, he's obviously become quite toxic in the locker room by if you read the press conference, the all-out press conference, anything to go by, I just think, yeah, AEW was in a better place before he came in, like in terms of like all these backstage stories and all this discontent. And I think it will be in a better place once he leaves.
First of all, to your milk metaphor, ew. Okay. Oh, that was very visceral. I got that. If you've ever had sour milk, you know what he's talking about. Number two, I love your description. It's a CM Punk shaped hole. I mean, Jay, can they replace him, or do they need to? Do they have enough now?
It's a hard one, isn't it? I think that one of the biggest things they're going to lose, obviously, is the revenue from like merch sales. Like this is a guy who literally broke pro wrestling tees for a weekend when he came back because everyone wanted to buy the shirt. From a marketing standpoint, it's a massive blow to AEW. That being said, the only real way they can remedy it, and they've got big stars. They've got Jericho, they've got Mox, they've got Bryan Danielson, to a lesser degree Claudio. But the only real way they can remedy it is by promoting someone else to become bigger. And they've got people there who could do that. They've got guys like MJF, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, all guys who've got like incredible charisma, who could have that, and Swerve as well, who could have that crossover appeal. Just look at the fact that the hottest act in the company, the Acclaimed at the moment, we're getting a bigger reaction in Chicago than CM Punk was. They've definitely got people in the company they can make as big as Punk was when he came in. They just need to kind of put the belief in them, I think.
Troy, they just put you in charge of the locker room. They said, we've had enough of this. We don't have an Undertaker to run the locker room. We got veterans who, for some reason, are not being asked to run the locker room, which is weird. So, Troy, they gave it to you. Make a case for not getting rid of Punk. Tell me what you would do. What does he have to do? And is there a world in which he does come back and this somehow smooths over in the next several months?
You're asking the wrong person. I personally, AEW was fine before he got there, and it will be fine when he goes.
Okay. That was no fun.
Like, I agree with everything that's been said. I don't think I can really kind of shed anything new on it. There are plenty of people there that can and will continue to carry that company through, and will have equally as big a star power in years to come. It doesn't need it. When there's clearly so much room for a lot of young, fresh and new kind of up and coming talent to flourish. It doesn't need people there like that are clearly not holding people back, but just making the environment just so difficult. And it for people that are potentially looking at going there or wanting to go in there, knowing that someone like that is still there and causes the issues and grief that they have done, it becomes a less appealing offer.
I was in Chicago the night he won the title, or not the night he won the title, but the night he came back, and it was. I mean, I'll never forget that. What a memory! What a great night! What the electricity in that crowd was. I mean, it was deafening. It's the loudest pop I've ever encountered live in person. It was amazing, and to see where we are now. I mean, just over a year later, it's shocking where we are now. So. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What about this is not as big of a headline, but Miss Moxley made her debut this week on the program. Jay, what do we think about Renee Paquette joining and now becoming All Elite?
I think this is an absolutely fantastic signing for them. She just adds so much to it. Like she's got like a kind of own like natural charisma that no one else really has in that role. She can present TV shows, she can do commentary. They're using her backstage interview at the moment, aren't they? But I do foresee her probably having something either on the YouTube or on like a Warner Brothers property, whether that's TNT, TBS, or HBO Max. The sky's the limit with what they can do with her, really. She's just that good.
Ben, what do you think? Good signing by AEW here?
Oh, absolutely. And we've all seen the memes, haven't we? This is like Tony Khan's now recreated the backstage crew in their entirety. She was the last piece. Absolutely, she's great. I was saying the other day, I think she's going to take a lot of the heavy lifting off Tony Schiavone, because I know he's doing a lot more exec work now. He's helping Tony Khan more. I wouldn't be surprised if she took over his duty on the podcast, the Unrestricted podcast, because she does podcasts anyway. She's great at that. She's one of the best backstage interviewers in the business. She doesn't want to do commentary, I don't think, but it's something she can do if she has to. Will there be a sort of, like, even if she just did like the pre-show on like a pay-per-view and did some analysis and some sort of bits and bobs with that? Yeah, because the very fact that we're talking about 4, 5, 6 different things that she could do in this company off the top of our heads just shows what a versatile and valuable hire she's going to be.
She really is. I'll be honest with you. I was never a fan of her commentating. I'm not saying she couldn't do it. I just was never. But, to be fair, she has someone screaming at her in a headset all the time. Right? I mean, that's the stories we always hear. So let her do it now. Who knows? Troy, what do you think about Renee being in AEW now?
She's a good egg, isn't she? She's just lovely. It's awesome to see her there. I mean, I wouldn't mind if she wasn't there. Like, her podcast's awesome. I'm happy to listen to that. But it's nice to see her on the screen. And as you say, multifaceted. There's so much she can do there. And I think whatever role they give her, that she'll excel at it, because she's just fantastic. I think it's a really, really good signing.
Ben, to your point, she should definitely take over the podcast with Tony, because Aubrey Edwards is not a podcaster. I'm sorry. No shade meant, but you could also argue that Aubrey Edwards is not a referee either. I'm not saying I'm saying it.
Oof, I'm not saying that.
But,
that one.
Huh?
I'm not touching that one.
No, why? Is that a hot button for the crew here? What's going on?
You know what they say. You can get by anything with just about enough enthusiasm, can't you?
I just
and hey, I've exemplified that over my life in various roles, so I feel that.
Well, it's funny. I've seen those. I don't know what account it is, but I've seen the clips cut together of her podcast interview with Jericho, where she's talking about referees shouldn't be seen and that she tries to stay in the background. And then it's immediately followed by clips of her intentionally putting herself in the frame of the camera. So she's intentionally on camera during matches. And I'm like, I mean, until it's pointed out, you don't know it.
Did you hear what Taz said on commentary this week?
Refresh my memory. I don't know.
I'm not sure if it was on picture-in-picture or not. But basically, Excalibur said referee Aubrey Edwards. And Taz was like, why are you saying her name? She's a referee. That's her job. You shouldn't be saying referee Aubrey Edwards. You should just be saying the referee. And then for the rest of the show, every time Excalibur referenced the referee, didn't mention the name at all. I was like,
wow,
that's a really, really good point by Taz.
Yeah. Referees should not be visible. If they're doing their job correctly, Tommy Young back in the NWA, the golden days of the NWA, Flair would push him, Tommy would push him, and Flair would bump for him. And it didn't happen in every match, but it happened enough to where you're like, what are we doing here? So yeah, it's I think to a point they can be involved. But like I've worked in indie promotions here that the referee gets his own entrance music.
Oh, our local promotion, the referee's having a match at the next show.
I was just about to say.
Wow.
I mean, that's been quite an amusing kind of little storyline.
Quite a funny little story, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a comedy match. It's not going to be like they're not going 20 minutes or anything like that.
No.
As long as one of them actually tries to count his own pinfall, I'd be in for that. That would be fun.
I progressed the other week. I saw a referee get thrown out for alleged interference. They had a ref bump, and another ref came down, and they tried to do the Eddie Guerrero spot where they threw the chair to each other. It was G Money and Maggot. They were throwing the chair to each other, and the ref was down. They were lying down, and then by the time the ref got up, they threw the chair to the second referee. And then so the first referee ejected the second referee for the Eddie Guerrero spot.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It was in the middle of a pure comedy match, so it really did work. It was great.
I was about to say they're two of the only people who could get away with doing that. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen Gene Money, he's one of the most entertaining British wrestlers out there at the moment.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
I hope it's as funny because the way you described it's hilarious. I love the way you're so deadpan when you delivered it.
Oh,
That cracked me up. That was awesome.
he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Ron is on and says, ring announcer. Oh, yeah, because Ron does ring announce. He comes out, and we've seen ring announcers also get interest music. I mean, Jim Ross gets his own music. Ring announcers are seen. Ring announcers are heard. Ring announcers are part of the show. Ring announcers also help. I would consider ring announcers to be the comic that goes on before the comic. It's his job to warm the crowd up, to bring them up to a certain level, to bring them down, to let you know when it's serious. Ring announcer is part of the show. Referees are too, but I think, Ron, the point of this is referees should not be on stage. And if they're very good, you'll never know they're there, but it's just the right moments. And that's the kind of stuff I would call on commentary is when a referee's really killing it and being in the right place, the right time, calling the spot and calling. I always try to put that over to say referee so-and-so doing a bang up job tonight, that kind of thing. Just to let people know that, yes, we see them, but they shouldn't be under spotlight. How do we get off on this? Alma says Bronco Lubitsch, best referee in world class. Alma, I'm going to argue that. No disrespect to Bronco, all right? But I saw the way Bronco counted pinfalls. He would get down on one knee and go 1, 2. He would like he's swatting a fly. Now, Bronco was also like 70 years old when this was going on. So I don't know if I can say he's the best referee. I don't know if I can say that. Gene says Lillian Jeffrey, I'm sorry. You're right. But again, Lillian was a ring announcer. There's a difference.
I mean, she also sang the national anthem, didn't she?
She did. Well, she did something to the national anthem.
Oh, we're hot tonight, aren't we? Jesus Christ.
It's all subjective. I'm just saying. Am I getting in trouble on my own show?
We're dumping on everyone. We're going in. It's great. I'm here for it.
I don't know if it's the right thing to do to just, to provide hot takes. Let's see what the Magic 8 Ball has to say. Magic 8 Ball says, keep it up.
Nope.
So we're good.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, I base all my life decisions on what the Magic 8 Ball has to say. Speaking of AEW, how is it that we're on the same planet as MJF in his prime? What a time to be alive. And I'll say it, I'm not going to ask any of you. They are turning him face. Or they're leading you to believe they're going to turn him face. And the whole thing with Regal, the backstory is going to be that once upon a time he had a tryout in NXT and Regal told him no. I think we all see that that's coming. It makes the most sense. Ben, what about MJF as this guy can do no wrong? He could say or do anything. The crowd loves him. And then when it's time to boo him, they'll boo him because they go along with him. But, dude, what a talent this guy is. The whole world is his oyster in that company. I mean, let me narrow the question down. How soon do they put that title on him, Ben? Tell me. How soon?
Winter is coming, I think, if not before.
Great answer.
It's when Kenny won it. It's got the history of being a time that you change titles. It gives Moxley a bit of time to have a bit of a title run. I think 4 years a little too short. If you want, because otherwise then Moxley's got these 2 short title reigns, which I think sort of kneecaps him a little bit in terms of credibility. But yeah, MJF is he's lightning in a bottle, isn't he? He can, like you said, he can do anything. They're going to turn him face and you're going to cheer him. Then he'll be a prick and you're going to boo him. He's like, even in this world we live in now with the internet and with Twitter and social media, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's what's exciting.
He never breaks character.
No, and like trying to unravel him, and it's like trying to comprehend the vastness of space. You just can't, your mind can't do it.
And he's given interviews recently where he did kind of break kayfabe, and he still was a jerk. So he'll do it to a point. Who was it said that he'll never work as a face? Jeffrey. Oh, Jeffrey. I've heard people say never, 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 never. Never will Eric Bischoff ever be on Raw. Never will Bret Hart ever shake Shawn Michaels' hand. Never will CM Punk ever return. Brother, I never say never about this business. I've learned my lesson.
I mean, we cut one of the best face promos of the year when he was in that feud with CM Punk for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And then he came out on Dynamite last week and literally told us all that he plays a character in the ring and broke the fourth wall.
He did. He did.
What's going on?
I love that he goes off on the firm, and I'm okay with the name, by the way. It's no longer just a Paul Rogers band with Jimmy Page that didn't go anywhere. So there's a deep cut for you. Troy, what about MJF? Go ahead and sing his praises. We know you want to, unless you're going to swerve me with the CM Punk thing. Tell me why MJF is awesome. Don't disappoint me here.
He's a good character, isn't he? I think he's a good character. I think one thing that surprised me was, who was his match against? Was it Darby Allin like 6 or so months ago? It was like the opener for like one of the pay-per-views.
Yes.
And I think it really surprised me how good it was. It Full Gear?
I think so.
So it's about a year.
Would have been Full Gear.
He's had 2 matches. Yeah, the one with Darby and the one with Jungle Boy, where everyone's just gone and gone, oh wow, he's a really good wrestler.
The one he had with last week.
Yeah,
it was incredible. It was so good.
Yeah, he's a great character, and I think, like you said, Ben, in an age where like kind of almost nothing is a secret in wrestling anymore, there's always some sort of leak or rumor or whatever. Like, he's someone that's still very much not an enigma, but just like still can't quite work him out. We'll always keep you on your toes. There's always going to be something. My not counterpoint, but you're saying like a lot of people are, oh, when does he get the title? When does he get the title? Why does it necessarily have to be the world title? Like, Wardlow has the TNT title. There's already a story there. Why can't he have that first? Why can't they do something? He's the first dual champion. He beats Wardlow and then has the world title. Like, why does it have to be hot shotted straight to the world title?
Because the only title in AEW that's actually worth anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't hot shot him. But I would counterpoint your counterpoint. By taking the belt from Wardlow, you have cut Wardlow's legs out from underneath of him. You know, in my opinion, you took away his accomplishment to getting there. To me, it's akin to Batista finally gets over and beats Triple H, and Triple H beats him 3 months later. Yeah, but to be a star, he beat Triple H. Like, I'm not saying they won't do it, but that's kind of my comeback. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think with MJF as well, the whole point of the chip is it guarantees your world title shot. So it's essentially Money in the Bank, isn't it? I'm in the camp that I'd quite like to see them having beat Mox for it at Full Gear, but at the same time, I'd also quite like him to hold on to it for quite a while and then just capitalize when, like, after Mox has had like an absolute like bloodbath of a match or something. Say because Tony said they're gonna eventually bring back the exploding barbed wire match. Have them do that.
Yay.
Have them do that. Mox literally just about got through it. MJF comes in, pins him, walks out with the belt.
Jeffrey redeemed himself. Jeffrey redeemed himself with this comment. MJF's character is too greedy to have any other belt in the world title.
That too.
Yeah, well, the whole point of what he's been saying is he wants to be the champion when his contract expires so that he's got the leverage. That's the storyline reason for him wanting the world title, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think
that sounds familiar.
I was going to say, I think they're going to...
Well, that's kind of been the point, and this is why it's all gone to hell now, is because they've been almost paralleling CM Punk's WWE storyline through MJF. Yeah. And obviously, they were going to have this big feud down the line.
Yeah.
And now that's all up in smoke, isn't it? So...
One thing that would be quite good is if MJF does win it at Full Gear or Winter is Coming, have him hold it for the year and have, like, obviously the closer it's getting to his contract expiring, have, like, you could even, like, sort of have it that Tony Khan's, like, panicking, going, I need to get this belt off him before, like, he takes it to WWE. Just add to, like, a sense of urgency in getting the belt off MJF. You could literally have it, like, on the New Year's show. MJF, like, either loses it or successfully defends it.
So you've got, like, Tony and Jerry Lynn acting like Vince and Ace, just desperately trying to, like, throw at opponents at MJF every week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bringing over, like, Suzuki and Ishii and, like, you know, all these nightmares from Japan to, like, try and take him out.
Now you're talking.
Anderson and Dean Malenko, like Patterson and Briscoe.
Yeah, we need stooges in AEW. We need some stooges. Shane says AW should start a feud between Wardlow and Miro. AW
Yes.
should just do something
Yes,
with
please.
Miro. In my
That'd be
opinion,
nice.
He's been acting, hasn't he, recently? And that's
Has
why
he?
he's been off TV. He was doing a filming role.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Just
take
have
that.
him and Brody King beat the hell out of each other for 20 minutes every week.
And that.
And Miro versus Ishii as well. I'd like that.
Ishii, yeah.
I hate that all this stuff happened with Malachi Black. I hate it because House of Black was great. I loved it. The stuff they did with Death Triangle was awesome. If they worked every Dynamite from now till the end of time, I would have been happy because those were great matches. They were fun.
Yeah.
Brought the house down. They could main event every night. Those two teams, 100%.
And they were doing really good bits of storyline in the background that was all building to this crescendo, and it did. And yeah,
got to feel bad for Julia Hart. She's the one that's like, they took all that time with her, and then she finally gets there. It's like, yay, I get to do something. Wait, where are you going?
Right.
Wait, where are you going? Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Folks, we're coming up on the top of the hour. You boys got to go soon. However, we all patiently await Ray All Day's question because I know it's coming. Yes, guys, Ray's still got his question of the week every time. He typically asks about food, Adam Cole coming to your house, and whether or not he can partake of food and whatever Adam Cole brings with him.
Or something to do with hip hop, like this group or that group, this rapper or that rapper.
Oh, I forgot that. How do I forget that? Yeah. He made it hard on me last week. He was on vacation and he had Toby sent the question to Toby, and Toby asked.
That's commitment.
That is cool.
Good man, Ray. Good man.
Ray does his homework, man. I'm telling you. All you people should be prepared like Ray is. I'm disappointed in you. Robbie, you've been very patient, my friend. I apologize. Glad Orange. Oh, we didn't talk about Orange.
I mean, great match, great result, made up for him. Yeah.
You speak about people who could main
some of
event.
those DDTs was
oh yeah.
As
I'd happily watch those two wrestle every week.
Yeah,
they've got such chemistry.
Best chemistry.
First time I saw them work on TV, I want to say it was during the pandemic, Empty Arena. I think, maybe I'm wrong. And the first time he started those little lame kicks on Pac, I thought it was a shock to the system because that's not how he works. And I thought, I know it's storyline. I'm sure they're probably bros behind the scenes. They're good. But character-wise, I thought, what's preventing this guy from tearing his head off? But then it's like, well, there's no story there. The story is he's just staring down, watching this idiot do this, and he's disgusted and like, you're doing this to me? Do you know who I am? Do you know that I can kill you? It's like General Zod, right? Why do you say these things to me? Well, you know that I will kill you for it.
It was Orange's first singles match in AEW, wasn't it? And it was like, this is amazing, but at the same time, I feel like this guy's going to his death.
Very good. Ray is here, kids. Heavy D or Busta Rhymes, and it's two-parter. Digital Underground or Rex in Effect, dude. And if Adam Cole came to your house in a limo to see Black Adam and had an extra ticket, could I come? And after wanting to get grilled salmon, could I have as well? This is for all of you.
Ooh, that's a lot in there.
Right.
Ben,
That's a lot to unpack.
We're going to leave the question. We got to leave the
Um,
question up. Ben, you go first.
First things first, but Busta Rhymes, especially if we're dealing with, the whole Tribe Called Quest as well. We'll bring that all in. That's fine. Digital Underground, maybe. Why not? I would absolutely watch Black Adam with Adam Cole, as long as he bought the popcorn, because he's making a bit more. He's got that Twitch money, so he can get the snacks. And Ray, you can come around to my house anytime, brother, and you can have anything you want out my fridge.
Oh, not bad.
I've
Go, Jay.
got fancy stuff in there. Yeah, I'm with Ben. Busta Rhymes, Digital Underground. I'm not that interested in Black Adam, but if Adam Cole was there, I'd probably be on board with it.
Black Adam Cole.
Hey. If Adam Cole dressed as Black Adam, that would be like sealing the deal. And yeah, if I had an extra ticket, of course you can have it, right, and you can have the salmon as well. Why not? It's Christmas after all.
Troy, we're around the horn. We're around the horn, Troy. What do you think?
Buster Rhymes, Digital Underground. Yes, you could come and watch Black Adam with us, and yes, you could have all the grilled salmon you want.
I think I parrot everything Troy just said, and then some. Ray, you never cease to amaze or disappoint, my friend. A couple minutes, kids. We're going to do something fun here, as we do every week. We find the banner. No, we put this up. Open floor. Make them good. As Dusty would say, make it count. Make it good. My shows are all deep cuts. That's all they are, because I'm such a freaking nerd about this stuff and about a lot of other things. You guys have done the 6M, you know. Ben, we got to get you on the 6M, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man. Anytime.
We're going to do a watch along next Saturday of Face Off. That we're trying to get it scheduled.
I haven't seen Face Off in like 15 years, so that could be a real thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to tell the wife before she goes thinking I'm going to spend time with my family on the weekends. What are we talking about?
Got plenty of time for that, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. Laura says, I jinxed her on the first date. I didn't do anything to your date. I had nothing. Wait, I had little to nothing to do with that at all. That was not me. You can't be blaming me for that stuff. Let's see. Here we go. Robbie says, what's your Mount Rushmore? The worst wrestler gimmicks in wrestling history. We're going to end on a bad note. We could be here another hour and a half.
Go.
I've watched a lot of TNA, mate. I can do this.
Right. Definitely Mansour. Let's just get that one out the way with.
Right.
Shockmaster?
Shockmaster, yeah. He's got to be there, Shocky.
Abyss with the Hall of Fame ring.
Yeah, oof. Captain Planet Abyss, definitely.
That was awful.
And Relic, that's Killer Backwards.
Yeah, Relic's
sake.
That's pretty
what?
bad.
No room for Repo Man on there, no?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of room for Repo. Are you kidding me?
It's a bad gimmick. So the gimmick can be that they botched Mount Rushmore and have more faces on. It's fine.
I mean, if you needed another example of what Vince Man's money can do, they taught Barry Darso, who was Crusher Khrushchev, World 6-Man Tag Team Champion in Jim Crockett Promotions, was wrestling the best talents on the planet every night and twice on Sunday. They taught him into, well, look here, pal. We want to paint you up like the Road Warriors. And Darso's like, you know that I'm actually friends with them. We work. Yeah, whatever. The Road with Demolition. First he did that, and he said, okay. And then he said, I got something better. We're going to put you in a trench coat and a domino mask. You're going to be the Repo Man. If you know what kind of money you want in this world is if you get to the point where you got to have Barry Darso money, you're in trouble, because that means you're at the end of your rope. I shouldn't say that. Maybe something terrible happened. I don't know, but like that's really bad. Oh wait,
yeah.
Keith says,
shouts there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. To be fair.
Oh, the gobbledygooker, of course.
I think I'd
Bastion Booger. Shout out Bastion
Booger for like ever.
Eugene. Shout out Eugene.
Eugene.
Oh God. Oof.
Yeah. Oof. Nope.
Keith, it feels like you had those in your pocket ready for this question. I don't know why I feel that way. Oh, wait till somebody asks me. I'll tell them. Kids, I'd love to stay here all day. Alas, I cannot. I got to thank the boys here for joining me this week. Guys, it's been too freaking long. Let's do this again very soon.
Yes.
I'm going to give you guys a chance again. Jay, you plug the show for all the kids out there listening. Where can they find the Untitled Wrestling Pod?
We are available wherever you get podcasts, be that Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. We've anywhere. We put a lot of stuff on YouTube now as well. It's something we're trying to do a bit more of. We've got a radio show on Jack's Radio every Tuesday night at, I think it's 8 p.m. UK time. So that'll be 3 Eastern, is it? Or it's on a Wednesday night as well. We've got Facebook is Untitled Wrestling Podcast. Twitter is Untitled Rest Pod. Discord and what's the other one?
Instagram.
Twitch. That's
Untitled Rest Pod.
And Instagram, all Untitled Rest Pod or Untitled Wrestling Podcast. Yeah, we do quite a lot of cool stuff, and we got quite a lot of really cool stuff coming up in the next couple of months.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah.
Can't wait to see.
Potentially something getting announced this week as well.
Awesome. Well, we're going to hook up Face Off next week. We'll be in touch and we'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
Guys, don't go anywhere. I appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. You guys are
Thanks,
the best.
guys.
For having us.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
All righty. There you go, kids. Untitled Wrestling Pod representing here on the main event. Thanks, everyone, again for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. You guys have been supporting us for a long time. It's very much appreciated. We're coming up soon on episode number 300. That's going to be fun, right? Thanks again to everybody for hanging out. Again, everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for your support. Remember Tom Clark's main event as you're watching. And also Tom Clark's 6M podcast, movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. As if you need any more. Let's take this overlay off because it's all up on my head. There it is. I always forgetting buttons at the end. We're out of here, kids. We'll see you next time. See you next week, everybody. Have a great one. Tom Clark's main event.